and went another associate's because it was the more affordable route. So
We already established you were smart. Brilliant move. Brilliant
yep.
move. All right, so kind of we're looking at two kind of non-traditional paths, which is pretty cool too. All right, so Maddie, what are you up to these days?
So today I am an art painter, an art teacher, a paint
Art teacher.
teacher. Yes, I am an art teacher, not for a school. I do it through a small company. But I am absolutely living out my dream job and getting to do what I love every single day. So it has been absolutely awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good. How's life treating you in the hospital?
It's rough. But I do like it. I do really like my job. But it's rough
Is,
sometimes.
is it what you thought it would be?
No, not at all. Definitely was a culture shock. I feel like I'm too young for all these responsibilities that I have now. I'm like, I don't think they realize how young I am. They're expecting me to do all this.
And what's the
But
full title? What's your full work title?
registered nurse. CVICU is my specialty, but I'm a registered nurse.
Very cool. All
Yep.
right. So we'll close out the interview part. Two questions. Once we finish, hang on the line. I got a couple non-recorded questions too. All
Okay.
right. Uh, all right. So we just sent out the letters to the eighth graders, class of 2029. And, for a lot of people, they're kind of scared. They're anxious. They're leaving their friends behind. They think they're not going to get the traditional high school experience. We've added a ton of stuff. We do homecomings and all kinds of things now. Uh,
What?
that's what we're going to talk about after the recording.
Let me come do an art club.
Please, anytime. Uh, but what advice do you give that kid who's on the fence? Like they've gotten in, they don't know if they want to come.
Hmm.
Question number two, what advice do you give that senior who's like, man, I got it figured out. This is what I'm gonna do.
I have someone for the upcoming freshmen, and that advice is work hard now so you can play later. Yeah. Work hard now so you can play later. I love playing and being in the moment and worrying about myself in the moment. But if I had started thinking about my future self when I was a freshman, things probably would have gone a little smoother for me, especially getting out of high school. Yeah, I'd say the same. Early college was great. I probably would not have survived high school. Early college was the best thing that happened to me, but I didn't really realize like what it was and that it was going to just be still get the high school experience per se. Same thing there, but just make the best of those 4 years. Because you're never gonna get them back.
Right.
No.
You're only young once, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We can be like,
Definitely
oh, age
jump
is
on the
just a number,
opportunity.
but
Hmm.
I'm just saying we don't play kickball anymore. At least I don't.
Yeah.
I'll be out for a week. And I'm still one of the younger people here.
Yeah.
It's concerning. All right, what advice for the senior?
The senior, don't think you're done just because you got that high school diploma, because you are never done learning. The entire rest of your life is going to consist of you learning and training and experiencing the world in all kinds of different ways. So never let that spark of wanting to learn fizzle out, because there's so much more to learn than what you just learned in early college in the last 4 years.
Good advice.
Thank you. Um, I would say, especially if they think they have it kind of figured out what you want to do. Gosh, adulthood really crashes down on your parade the second that you finish high school and early college, and you think that you want to do this, and then you start to apply for loans and figuring out how much everything costs, and car insurance and credit cards and health issues that now you're responsible for because you're 18. So you definitely make things work, because I thought I was going to go to a 4 year school, major in psychology, and go on and get my master's. And that I also thought I was going to do that at one point. 2 weeks once I realized how much
Yeah.
that would cost. And I was like,
I
that's
just
not
I just
realistic.
remembered what you wanted to do in your personal finance project, Kaya.
Yeah,
Like forensic psychology. That
I
was
know.
it.
And I,
We
and
had
I
a
really
college and
did.
everything figured out.
Yeah, I did figure it out, and then I looked at the cost, and I was like, "That's there's no way that I'm going to be able to be a college student until I have my master's degree." So I was like, "What can I do in 2 years that's going to be able to make myself financially stable enough so that I can support myself and get my own apartment?" And so that was the route of nursing, and it was a good decision. I don't regret it, but it definitely, as soon as I started looking at like the cost and everything of like going to a 4 year school, moving away, and then going on for another master's, still, not making a lot of money with just a bachelor's in psychology. I was like, this really actually is not realistic. I'm going to graduate with like $80,000 in debt, and I don't think that I'm going to be able to afford to live. So 2 weeks, I changed majors as soon as I graduated. It was like 2 weeks later, I applied for the nursing program. And it just all ended up working out the way it was, but definitely like adulthood, it hits you, and then you've got to get realistic. You may want to go to coastal and major in arts, but if what are you going to do with that bachelor's degree afterwards? Are you actually going to use it with that debt that you're now going to acquire? Are you going to be able to pay it off and financially support yourself? Something that you don't really think about until it's over, and then now you're living here and you're like, well, now actually that was more of like a fairy tale dream, and I've got to get realistic. So yeah.
Great
I have
advice.
another one.
Sure.
Don't spend all your monies on tattoos when you turn 18.
Good
Just don't do it.
advice too.
Put it in the
Very,
savings account.
very good advice. High yield savings account. Maybe
Yes,
invest in stocks and bonds.
the highest of yield.
Of course. All right. So that is Kaya and Maddie. Thank you for joining me again. Hang on the line here for just a minute afterwards. And y'all were great.